In 1999, after appointing Blur, Pillinger saw Damien Hirst on television, one of the most important exponents and curatorial promoters of the successful artist dubbed as Young British Artist. They correspond to Britpop in the visual arts of the 1990s and indulged in a close partnership with the art market. The enfant terrible, Hirst, one of the most successful and wealthiest artists alive, is not only notorious for his dissected cows laden in formaldehyde, but also for his provocatively harmless and meaningless spot paintings, of which you see one here, which he painted since 1990 and which caught Pillinger's attention. He's painted hundreds of these dot paintings, which are very successful. Pillinger made a similar arrangement with Hirst, thus generating a great amount of publicity for Beagle 2. In order to spare the spacecraft's mass and power budget, Pillinger asked Hirst not to provide for a dissected animal, quote, cows are too heavy, but to design a calibration target for the several onboard cameras and instruments. The small space-modified aluminium plate was to resemble Hirst's spot paintings, displaying a series of different benchmarking dots. For example, the Mossbauer spectrometer was meant to analyze iron in Martian soil and needed to be checked against standard samples of different types of iron in situ. Accordingly, Pillinger defined nine different hues of the synthetic Mars yellow pigment, named Crocus martis in early modern alchemy, varying from yellow to black according to the grade of its oxidation and supposed to be present in Martian soil. A white spot in the middle was included for contrasting with the black one, and two additional, technically non-functional colors were added by Hirst, green and blue, symbolizing planet Earth. Hirst's art was utilized as a widely recognizable art logo. Here, art was a surface or a gadget attached to a scientific machine, and the deal between Pillinger and Hirst was based on the mutual benefit of greater notoriety in case life was discovered on Mars on Christmas Eve. The calibration target was explicitly staged as a piece of art, including a 2-day exhibit at the White Cube Gallery in London before being mounted into the spacecraft. Hirst is not a militant atheist, but a pragmatic nihilist who under the present circumstances finds it hard to believe in the existence of any supernatural being or religion. Quote, where's God? God's fucked off. So this is the enfant terrible slang which one has to get used to. The Beagle 2 calibration target had the advantage to be declared a scientific, useful, and absolutely essential work of art. Unquestionably, the plate would have perfectly worked without Hirst's aesthetic arrangement, and art's usefulness was certainly financial and personal. The calibration target made by scientists for robo-cameras comes close to a nihilist technological utopia of art made by machines for machines which do not despair at the human condition as the artist does. The scientific theme pervades Hirst's work, and it measures the power of art with scientific solutions to human problems, especially in medicine, leading to question both art as pseudoscience and science as a form of art. Hirst claims to have discovered that such grids of colored spots, well, I have the wrong one here because it's mostly grayish, but he claims that he has discovered that such grids of colored spots automatically have a harmonious and cheering effect on the viewers. Quote, no matter how I feel as an artist or a painter, the paintings end up looking happy. They almost mechanically don't go wrong, he says, and help in ignoring the all-pervading existential angst and horror of human existence. For Hirst, the colorism of the spot paintings conveys an immediate and simple sense of eternal beauty and produces, quote, the joy of color without meaning, total superficiality and meaninglessness, which nevertheless has a direct impact. Quote, the spot paintings are an unfailing formula for brightening up people's fucking lives, he says. They work like, quote, sweets or drugs, like visual candy, he says. Hirst's discovery of course, that the spot paintings have an immediate uplifting effect on the beholder strengthens his belief that, quote, art is like medicine, it can heal. Consequently, in the series of spot paintings, Hirst searches for a, quote, scientific approach to painting a similar way to the drug company's scientific approach to life. He therefore called the series the pharmaceutical paintings and named the single paintings in alphabetical order according to the product names he found in the catalogue of a biochemical drug company. So you see here an extract out of his catalogue raisonné. Consequently, Hirst's calibration target might still be intended as a simple chemical message of beauty and happiness. So if we take that seriously. Concerning the calibration target as a work of art, Hirst has uttered two known assertions, and I'm almost finishing. Quote, I'm sure there'll be a great demand of my work out there, meaning Mars. They love me, he says. And, quote, if they've got eyes, they'll love it. As in the case of Blur, such pop star statements are to be taken seriously as a part of the context of their works of art. Firstly, aliens need human eyes to receive the joy of color, and they even are supposed to feel love for art, which they probably do not. This is tantamount to admitting that there is no extraterrestrial life of interest to us if it is not human-like and thus attracted to beauty and art too. Secondly, Hirst wishes his works to be liked and especially bought by aliens. Therefore, Hirst sees the need to export art with its own existential context, the capitalist art market, which is essential to his own work. It's fundamental for the understanding of his own work. In the middle of nothingness on Mars, it is not the context which makes the work of art as such, but rather the other way around. It is the work of art which exports its own context and meaning. Thus, with the calibration target, Hirst states that the commodification of art is vital to his work, to the Mars Express mission itself, and also to contemporary society as a whole. Capitalism makes humanity. Thus, in conquering on another planet, humans need capitalism as much as oxygen, calibrate the unknown according to it, and spread like an important material. Space art is not a means of extraterrestrial, but of human communication and self-assurance, a, quote, message from Earthlings to Mars, sent back to us by robot cameras. The probe, which you see here, can be read as a scale model of today's society, suggesting that art, although intrinsically nonsensical, powerless, and at best uplifting, is a functional decoration, a point of reference, symbol, a motor of a technological and capitalist system. Essentially, an active part of the system, self-conscious space art can, I think, effectively reveal the transformation of space exploration into space exploitation, and finally, that human commodification is expanding well beyond the blue planet by the means of science and art. Thank you for your attention.